Hello guys, and today I will be reading Speak For Me by K.R. Alexander, Chapter 1. Naomi Park hated 3 things above else: spiders, public speaking, and dolls. Nothing scared her more than turning on the bathroom light in the middle of the night and finding an enormous hairy spider on the tile floor. Nothing got her palms sweating like the idea of standing in front of her class to give a presentation, which made the fact that she wanted to be a theater star hard to imagine. But none of those compared to her fear of dolls. When her friends had sleepovers, she made them put all the dolls in the closet or in another room. Ideally, she would have preferred to hide them all in another building on the other side of town or in another continent. When she went down the toilet, she had to look at the floor so she wouldn't catch a sight of those beady doll eyes watching her lifelessly. When a distant aunt had mistakenly bought her a doll for her 8th birthday, she hid in her bedroom crying for the rest of the party. She hadn't come out until her dad had assured her the doll was gone and never coming back. She didn't know what was worse after that, having nearly been stuck with a doll or having all her friends laughed at her. She doesn't just hate dolls because they're creepy, even though that was definitely part of it. She hated them because whenever she looked at them, she started to wonder, what would it be like to be stuck in a box like that? What if every doll in the world could actually think? But they weren't able to talk or move on their own. Sometimes she had nightmares about becoming a doll and unable to move or speak, unable to stop her owner when they decided to cut off her hair or put her in dress clothes or toss her into the family dog. When she woke from those nightmares, her palms would sweat just like during a presentation, and her heart would race just like if she seen 100 spiders on her bed. The nightmares were really bad, but they would soon become her reality. Honestly, this sounds like the worst nightmare, Naomi says, staring at Jenna in disbelief. Oh, come on, her best friend said. You and me singing duet would be great. I don't know, Naomi muttered. Naomi looked from her friend to the poster taped to the school wall. There were dozens of posters prepared all over the school, so everyone she turned, she was taunted with the same message. Join the talent show, be a star. And sure, that was her dream. Someday, she wanted to be a star in the next Hamilton, to spend her nights under the stars of Broadway and her days exploring all the museums and cafes New York had to offer. She knew that meant practicing, and she did. She sang every night in front of the mirror and took voice lessons. Every weekend, she could play the piano and recite the scales by heart. The trouble was, her stage fright meant that this was about to be as hard as her training could go. Whenever she thought about auditioning for a play or taking part in a talent show, she started to hyperventilate. So far, the only people to see her perform had been her father and her voice coach and her stuffed animals. You can pick the song, Jenna urged, and the choreography and dance and... Wait, we're going to dance? Too? Of course, Jenna exclaimed. Does Beyonce just stand there? No, you gotta put on a show. Naomi sighed. Mostly because she knew Jenna, well, they've been friends since they were both in diapers, and she knew Jenna would get her way. Always, it was easier if Naomi just accepted it now. Putting up a fight would never work out in her favor. Okay, Naomi said. Naomi relented. I'll do it. The moment she said it, cold sweat broke out over her skin. Jenna didn't notice. She did a little cheer that made a few kids stop and stare at them, but she didn't mind, unlike Naomi. She never had a problem being the center of attention. And maybe that was why Naomi and Jenna remained friends for so long. Jenna was always happy to take center stage and to be a part of a school play or in a small group of friends. Naomi was perfectly content to sink into shadows and to take part or listen while Jenna recounted their shared stories to the group. And if that meant Naomi didn't get the attention she secretly craved, well, those were worse things. Like when Jenna got into her head that they needed to do something ridiculous public together, like taking part in a talent show. Jenna was Naomi's opposite in so many ways. Tall to Naomi's short, fair to Naomi's dark, loud to Naomi's quiet, confident to Naomi's shy. Maybe that was also why Naomi was okay with being in Jenna's shadow. She figured someday maybe Jenna's confidence would wear off on her. Usually Naomi would have tried to wiggle her way. Sorry about that. Out of doing the talent show in a day or two once Jenna had lost some of her enthusiasm. But it was their first year of middle school and she secretly wanted to make a big impression on all her new classmates. She was confident, a sixth grader now. Surely she should be more confident and willing to put herself out there to follow her dreams. Besides, she knew it was her waiting. She would just chicken out for the next few years. And as her trying in high school, no way. She'd seen high school boys. No matter her age or year, she'd never be comfortable standing up in front of a crowd of them. Not unless she had already experienced on stage, which meant it was now or never. Jenna took Naomi by the arm and led her out of the school, already talking about the latest dance moves she'd seen online, which felt a little silly to Naomi since she hadn't picked a song. What am I thinking? Naomi wondered. Jenna will listen to whatever idea I have. I have to tell her it's probably not the best choice to pick another song and try to make it sound like it was my idea in the first place. She's just letting me think I get to pick. Although it didn't upset Naomi to think that way. She was used to it. And besides, Jenna knew that was the best. She picked the right song. She always knew the right thing to do. Always. That was chapter 1 of Speak For Me by K.R. Alexander. And I'll see you guys next time for part 2. Bye!